Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to learn to rearrange difficult formulae. We've got 3 success criteria, and the first one is to recap how to arrange simple formulae. So the subject of a formula should always be on its own. So in this formula, y equals mx plus c, the subject of the formula is y. In real life, people use formulae to work out lots of information. You will also have learnt some of these formulae in maths lessons. So this formula, a equals pi r squared, is how we find the area of a circle. And a is the subject of the formula. Sometimes we will want to use a formula to find out a different part, so something that isn't the subject. So in this case, we're given a, but we want to find r. So in this question, we want to make t the subject of the formula y equals 2t minus p. So we get the subject on its own by using inverse operations. So we're going to use the balancing method, and we can start by getting rid of the minus p by adding p to both sides. What you do to one side, you've got to do to the other. So on this side we have y plus p, and on this side we've now just got 2t. Now remember, 2t means 2 times by t. So to get rid of the 2, we need to divide by 2. So we divide both sides by 2. So we've now got y plus p over 2 equals t. So we've made t the subject of the formula. Here's another example. This time we want to make c the subject of the formula b equals c over 4 plus 3a. So we start by getting rid of the 3a first, by taking away 3a from both sides. So we have b minus 3a on one side, and just c over 4 on the other side. Now c over 4 means c divided by 4, so to get rid of the divide by 4, we times both sides by 4. We need to make sure we times everything by 4. So we've got 4b minus 12a equals c. So we've made c the subject of the formula. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So in this question, we want to make x the subject of the formula y equals x minus 3r over p. So we start by timesing both sides by p, which gives us yp equals x minus 3r. Then we add 3r to both sides, so we get yp plus 3r equals x. So we've made x the subject of the formula. Here's another example. Here we want to make r the subject of the formula q equals 2p minus 4r. So here we can start by adding 4r to both sides, and that'll get rid of the minus. So we have q plus 4r equals 2p. Now remember, we want to get r on its own to make it the subject. So now we take a q off both sides. That gives us 4r equals 2p minus q. Then to get rid of the 4, we've got to divide both sides by 4. So we have r on its own equals 2p minus q over 4. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. And there's your red answers. And now we've completed success criteria 1. So now we're going to move on to number 2, and this is to rearrange formulae involving brackets and indices. So we want to make B the subject of the formula, C equals A, brackets, T minus B. So we start by dividing both sides by A, because remember A brackets T minus B means A times by T minus B. So we can divide both sides by A, which gives us C over A equals T minus B. Then to get rid of the minus on the B, we can add B to both sides. So we get C divided by A plus B equals T. Then we can take away C over A from both sides. So we get B equals T minus C over A. Here's another example. We want to make A the subject of the formula C equals 3a squared plus B. So we start by taking B off both sides, which gives us C minus B equals 3a squared. Then we divide both sides by 3. So we get C minus B over 3 equals a squared. Now the opposite of squaring something is to square root it. So we need to square root both sides. So the square root of C minus B over 3 equals A. And we've made A the subject of the formula. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. There's your red answers. And there's your purple answers. And now we've completed success criteria 2. So now we're going to move on to number 3, and this is to rearrange formulae when the subject appears more than once. So we want to make A the subject of the formula 2a plus x squared equals ab plus 2y. So step 1 is get all of the subject onto one side. So we want to get all the a's onto one side of the equation. So we can take ab off both sides, and that will give us 2a plus x squared minus ab equals 2y. Then we can move everything without the subject onto the other side. So we take x squared off both sides. That gives us 2a minus ab equals 2y minus x squared. Then we factorise the side with the subject on. So we can factorise 2a minus ab because they've both got an a in. So we can put a on the outside of the bracket and we'll have 2 minus b on the inside of the bracket. That will still equal 2y minus x squared. Then we can divide by the bracket because a brackets 2 minus b means a times by 2 minus b. So we divide both sides by 2 minus b, which leaves us with a equals 2y minus x squared over 2 minus b. Here's another example. This time we want to make x the subject of the formula 4t plus rx equals 3b minus x. So we start by getting the subject onto one side. So I'm going to add x to both sides. That gives me 4t plus rx plus x equals 3b. Then I move everything without the subject onto the other side. So I'm going to take 4t off both sides. Which gives me rx plus x equals 3b minus 4t. Then we factorise the side with the subject on. So we factorise rx plus x. So there's an x in both, so we put x on the outside of the bracket, and we'll have r plus 1 on the inside of the bracket. And that equals 3b minus 4t. Then we need to divide by the bracket. So we have x equals 3b minus 4t over r plus 1. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So we want to make x the subject of the formula 3d plus px equals 2c minus 3x. So we can start by adding 3x to both sides. Then we take 3d off both sides. Then we factorise the side with x on. Then we divide both sides by p plus 3. So our final answer is x equals 2c minus 3d over p plus 3. Here's another example. This time we want to make x the subject of the formula. A plus bx equals 3c plus x over 5. So we want to start by getting rid of any brackets or fractions first. So we're going to get rid of the divide by 5 first, by timesing both sides by 5. That gives us 5a plus 5bx equals 3c plus x. Then we take x off both sides. Then we take 5a off both sides. Then we can factorise the side with x on. Then we divide both sides by 5b minus 1. So x equals 3c minus 5a over 5b minus 1. Here's some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. And for the challenge, if we substitute the first equation into the second to ensure that y does not appear in the formula. So we're told y equals 3x minus 2t. So we substitute that into the second formula. Then we can expand out the brackets. Then we expand out the second set of brackets by timesing everything by t on the right hand side. Then we can add 30tx to both sides. Then we add 2tz to both sides. Then we can factorise the side with x on it. Then we divide both sides by 3z plus 30t. So x equals 5t plus 20t squared plus 2tz over 3z plus 30t. And now we've completed success criteria 3. So now that we've completed the last objective, it's time to end the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found it useful. Make sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to check out the other videos on the rest of the channel. I'll see you next time. See ya.